right now, say you had a gun. You could be locked and loaded.
And I'd still rather be me. I could close the distance.
No!
Cut that little head of yours clean off before you'd ever get a shot.
You feel tough now, huh?
What's up, everybody? Back at it again with another video, and this time I'll be reviewing The Punisher Season 1. With it now being available on Disney+, I thought it was a great chance to watch the show. Frank Castle is a former Marine who's on a warpath as he seeks revenge for the deaths of his family. Anyone involved will be killed as he searches for who did it.
Wait.
He was actually able to find and kill the blacksmith, someone who was one of the main people responsible for his family's death. But it doesn't satisfy him there. The rabbit hole goes pretty deep. So deep, even some of the bigwigs in the CIA are involved, including a person called Agent Orange. And Agent Orange was the director of covert operations and the main person responsible for the death of Frank's family. The first time they actually met, Agent Orange lost his eye to Frank. So there definitely was a grudge and a reason for him to come after his family. Now, Agent Orange was a good villain for the Punisher. However, he was treated more as one of the first obstacles of Punisher to figure out what happened. Billy Russo comes into play as a little bit as, learning under Agent Orange, and the way the writing team went about Billy Russo, aka Jigsaw, was very smart. He was in the background for a little bit under Agent Orange, and then as time began, we understand his relationship with Frank Castle. They act as if they're brothers. They fought together in the war. They met each other's family, and they were just there for each other too. So to see them both be on opposing sides, it really does a good job of fleshing out the character and making him a believable villain. They also had sly hints of Billy Russo having a lot of charisma, confidence, leaned on the pretty boy aspect a lot. They sprinkled some foreshadowing that he only had scars on his body but on his face to see he would become Jigsaw. So I thought that was pretty cool, and it was an undertone. It wasn't so in your face that you're like, oh, he's going to be Jigsaw. I mean, we all knew, but it was done in a proper way. The way the show also deals with other former Marines, such as Lewis, and their perspective of, how they're dealing with life after their service is commendable. We see Lewis suffering PTSD and, him building a trench in his backyard. I really enjoyed that scene. He seemed as he was just broken down. We saw his digression from trying to get help, but also being a little standoffish for other people trying to help when he thought they didn't get it, to killing a person who lied about his service, to eventually a suicide bombing and kidnapping Karen. And the funny thing is about Karen, she's actually Karen Page from the previous Daredevil series. She was, I think it was the assistant. She was the assistant to Nelson and Murdoch when it came to, their lawyering stuff. But the way Karen is dealt with in this show, I really do like. She continues her journalism a little bit and getting closer to Frank, and understands that he's not a villain, but he's definitely not some type of hero. He's a hero with questionable morals, and I think she's one of the very few people in the show that understands and gets that.
Look, maybe the government did something awful to you. I don't know your story, but awful things happen to people every day, and they don't murder people because of it.
Another character that I think needs recognition is Agent Dina Madani. Her and her partner came into an operation that Dina advised them to do, and it actually led to the death of her partner by the hands of Billy Russo. I think his name was Stein. I don't remember correctly, but I think it was Stein. Anyways, to give more credit to Dina Madani, she speaks her mind. She understands there's corruption in her branch of law enforcement and is so close to figuring out the truth and just won't give up on it. She's not afraid to pack a punch and not afraid to take a hit or two. And her getting a relationship with Russo definitely gives her the edge even more to when she finds out that he's corrupted, take him down and do anything at any cost to bring him to justice. Another character I think needs recognition is Micro. Him and Frank, when it comes to their partnership, is something that I have to commend the writers for. And just the on-set chemistry that Bernthal, I don't know what his last name is, I gotta say it again, but him and Micro. It was smart, the banter was cool, and you know, Castle being Castle when they first meet, because Micro calls him, doesn't go too well. He gets strapped to a chair, beaten up a few times, just average bro stuff, nothing too out of the ordinary.
Always helped this much.
But their relationship shines when it becomes clear that Micro is definitely an asset that Frank needs. With his tactical, tech savvy, and just saved Frank's hide so many times that without him, he probably wouldn't have gotten the justice that he wanted to, or been alive at that fact. And I think when Frank kind of messes with him a little bit and goes to see Micro's family and talk to them, with them thinking that Micro is dead, adds a little bit more of the tenseness to the situation. I mean, of course, Micro can't tell them that he's alive because that puts them in jeopardy. But I think Frank also kind of understands that and takes advantage of the situation and acts as the father figure for his son and, messes with the wife a little bit for a couple episodes before, it gets found out by his family that Micro's still alive.
And I feel like we're all just bleeding out,
A couple more notes I have to give on this show, The Punisher Season 1, is how it deals with characters. A lot of the characters feel fleshed out. I mean, even Curtis being the voice of reason for Frank and helping other people with their PTSD. The show does not shy away from PTSD issues and doesn't get too political. When it talks about gun control, it doesn't even feel forced at all. It feels like it has a place in the show, like it's gonna be talked about one way or the other. But besides that, oh my gosh, it has a great intro. It's violent. It's gory. I love the fight choreography. It's amazing. The choreography. It's great.
Life. That ain't never gonna be me.
And the thing is, with Frank, his main mission, he's just revenge. That's it. It's nothing. It doesn't get too convoluted. You don't get lost in what his intentions are. It's just plain, it's simple, and I enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed watching him get his. It was amazing. And at the end of the series of this season, when he sits down with Curtis and his talking group and talks about his issues, wraps up everything nicely. Frank doesn't know what's next for him and what he'll do now that his enemies have been laid to the ground. Of course, Billy Russo's going to have to come into play to get him out of that. But for now, that's kept under wraps. The best episode, I have to say, has to be episode 12 with Billy and Frank working together against Agent Orange and, getting out of captivity was pretty cool. And at the end where Billy and Frank fight in the carnival and Billy becomes Jigsaw, it's the greatest fight that I've seen in a Netflix show. Maybe I'm hyping it up too much, but I haven't reviewed Daredevil yet or The Defenders, so maybe I'll get proven wrong. But for now, that was one of the best. Now when it comes to the one-man army, I think I've said all that I needed to say. I really loved it, and I can't wait to review season 2. Now there's a couple Easter eggs that I will talk about in the show in a different video, but let me know what you thought about it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video.